Hey, Eric, I don't know if you're there, but hello.
I am.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Um, there we go. So I'm gonna show my screen, I guess, when everybody gets on, and we'll just go by the agenda.
Sounds
Oh,
good.
I have a cat walking across my computer. Hold on. All right, let me do show screen if I can figure out how. Show. Okay, can you see it?
Yep.
All right, excellent.
Hello.
Hi, is that Renee?
Yep.
Hi, Renee.
Hi.
All right, I have a
It's Jill
cat.
too.
Hi, Jill. Excellent.
I'm here. I'm participating. I'm just not feeling that spectacular, so I may be quiet.
Okay.
You?
Shut up.
So it's just Allison and Jeff. So Renee and Jill, you guys are on phone, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. There's my phone. All right, Allison's signing on right now with Jeff. I'm wondering, are we already recording? Because usually it doesn't. Oh, it is being recorded. Wonder when it started.
It was shortly before 6. I think Brian might have set it up, maybe. I don't know.
I know he emailed at 4 saying he was setting it up, but I thought that usually we had to start it to record it. So maybe it's just been recording for a while. Or we'll wait till we hear that they're on, and then we can start the meeting. Okay, Jeff's on the web. His computer mic is muted though.
Better now?
Yep.
Yes, yes, now you're on.
I'm here too.
Yay. Okay, so I guess then we'll just let everybody know that this is being recorded. And Eric, take it away.
We call this Recreation Commission meeting on March 28th to order at 6:03 p.m. In attendance are Renee, Jill, Jeff, Allison, and Bretta.
And you?
And
Eric.
myself, Eric. Yes, I'm here in spirit. I don't think we have any public hearings. I didn't see anyone else log in from externally. So I guess we could move on unless someone happens to log in a little bit later. Has everyone read over the meeting minutes from February 28th? Were there any discussion or corrections needed?
I did not see any corrections needed.
I make a motion to approve the February 28th, 2021 recreation minutes.
Second.
All in favor of the meeting minutes?
Aye.
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 All right. Approval of the minutes. Guess we could roll right into budget. Do we have anything, Bretta, that we really need to talk about as far as budget wise goes?
No, I do know that the budget for next year is going to be minimized a little bit. I know it hasn't been voted on, but just expect probably some of the capital plan proposals to not get approved because our budget is going to be tighter. I'm thinking it might be I mean, I don't want to speculate, but it seems like it might be something on the line of the level of the amount of the boat launch is what they're looking to cut. So each department's getting a little bit cut from each of their budgets to keep it down a little bit. Otherwise, nope, everything seems to be going okay.
All right. Well, I guess we can move into old business. Basketball clinic that should be starting up here in the next couple weeks, right? 10th and the 17th.
Did it
Chris,
fill
do you
up?
have a number? Do you have a number on that?
The last I checked, there were 6 open spots. So we had 9 people registered.
Okay. Can you post that flyer again just so I can share it?
Yes, I will. And
you.
I did send it to the school to share, but I'll do that again. I do have a question. The basketballs, there's 2 sizes. There's intermediate and junior sizes. I'm not sure. And then
Intermediate.
there's also full size. I didn't know which size we needed. But in either case, the intermediate and the juniors, the intermediates aren't going to be available to ship out until April 8th. And the juniors aren't going to be able to ship out until April 5th. These are the bulk packages for the multicolored ones that bring us to about $12 to $13 per ball. Otherwise, they're $17 per ball, and I may be limited on what colors are in stock to ship out now. What would you like to do? Because that puts us over the budget for that. What would you like me to do with that? Do you want the intermediate size, which is almost the full size, or the junior size, which is the size lower?
I would say intermediate.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're not available. They won't have them in stock until the 8th, which is 2 days before the
Yeah.
thing. So then those I would order individually and get them
Is
here.
that not something? Is that not something that we could just go purchase so that we can guarantee we have them? Considering a 2-day leeway is kind of scary.
I know that we get a better so through BSN Sports is where we were planning on getting them, and so they won't have those in when you do the bulk order of 6 balls at a time. They won't have those in until the 8th. Those run about $68 for 6 of them. if we do it individually, it's $17 or $6.99 or something, $16.99 or something like that per ball. So we could go and get them, which I would have to do if we're going with the intermediate size anyway, which is why I wanted to ask you. I would have to order them individually and see when they would come in, or go to like Dick's Sporting Goods or something and purchase a bunch of them.
They're going to be more expensive, I would assume, at Dick's.
That's what I was thinking too. I'm
you
also
try
going to
them?
call them because they're based out of, what town are they in? They're outside of Boston. And, you know, it's like an hour and a half drive from here. So if I could even go and pick them up from them during the week, I could do that for the individual ones. I can't do it for the intermediate bulk one because I won't be able to go on a Thursday or a Friday. But for the individual ones, if they can't get them here on time, I could probably drive over this, you know, on Monday or something and pick them up. So, but my guess is that the balls from Dick's are going to be closer to the $25 range each.
Yeah, I would agree. I think we just go with the intermediate. We go with the whatever color they have available, we purchase. I don't think we're going to need as many as we once, you know, I don't think we're going to get the full, you know, the bulk of the people that signed up, or the bulk of the people that we figured would anyways. So you might get one or two more people. So
instead of ordering 20 balls, should I just order 15 balls?
I'd say that would be your best bet. Go with the $17 price.
Okay.
If you had to go pick them up, you know, that would, if that guaranteed we'd have them before, you know, shipping.
I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to call tomorrow, because if they have the individual balls in stock and they ship via FedEx, and usually when we order, we get things in 2 days. Yeah. It's just the ones that they did not have in stock were the price range that you guys were looking for originally.
Yeah, I say cut back to 15 and order them individually, I guess. That way it guarantees that we have them for the 10th.
Okay. And if they can't ship them, I have to run some errands out there anyway. I'll just group all my errands and head out there and try to pick them up. So, okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. Thank you. And I'm glad that I was assuming that it was going to be the junior size. So I'm glad that I asked about the intermediate, because that would be better to have the right size ball. Okay. So I'll change that to 15 at 17, at just under $17 each. All right, thank you. And I will share the post, just writing the notes, on Facebook again. I'm posting it on the rec site and then also on the Irving Moms and Dads. If you guys know any other sites for 4th, 5th, and 6th grade parents, feel free to share it there, and I'll also ask for them to put it in the newsletter again for the school.
Can you tell me, has the sign-ups been pretty co-ed, or is it mostly boys? I know of a couple girls that had inquired with me. I just was wondering if they had signed up.
I did not look at the individuals who were signed up. I just saw that we were at 6.
I thought it was all the boys. Carter, Everett, Emmett.
Okay, then I'll reach out to those girls who had reached out as well.
I don't recall.
Do we are allowing kids who go to Irving but don't live in Irving to do it?
I'm sorry, what did you say, Allison?
Are we allowing children who go to the school but don't live in Irving to do it?
I don't even know if that's come up as a question.
What? Oh yeah, it has. I'm sorry. Carrie LaPointe asked.
If her kids are in the Irving school system, I think that was their biggest concern about mixing people in originally, when we were talking.
I think since he goes to the school, now that we definitely could use some more numbers, maybe I'll tell her she can sign them up.
And honestly, I think my kid is the only one who lives in Irving, who doesn't go to the school for 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, and Lynx is not interested. So so it would just be people who were in school.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll tell her that she can sign him up if she still wants to.
Yeah, so we have 9 people.
Yep.
JMO, Malachi, Everett, Rob, Goff, Bennett, Carter.
Yeah, so Rob
Austin,
lives in town but goes to
Yeah.
Sheffield, so he's another one, so that's good.
Oh, okay.
Braden, Emmett.
So it's all boys.
All boys. I thought it would be Leanna, but maybe. Did you speak to her, Jill, or no? She wasn't one of the ones that said.
No, but I'll reach out to her mom. The other one was Cadence Fisher.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, if Carrie, so I guess Carrie's kid could, and then so that would put us up to 12 or so, and 15 balls is still good for that. Okay.
Yeah.
If it looks like it's getting higher than that and we're enrolling up to 15, maybe I'll just run out and pick up another couple balls or see if they can add a couple balls in at the last minute. Okay.
Sounds good. Anything else about basketball that we need to work on or to discuss? I mean, I guess I'm drawing a blank.
People were asking if we were having it for younger kids, but I know that
I don't think it would be wise. I mean, it'd be
no,
nice, but it wouldn't be controllable or
no, I agree.
yeah. So
I was
I
gonna
guess
say if you drop it down a grade, you could get one more, but that's about it.
Okay. So if we're okay with basketball, then we can move on to the next one, which is the parks. Mariah sent me a picture. She ordered, I think she already did before she went on leave, a cork board notice board that has doors that close. It looks like it holds about four regular sheets of paper, like 2 behind each glass door, and it has a little roof and it closes. And then that gets mounted up. She was ordering it for someplace, I'm not sure, in town, and was wondering if we would be interested in something like that because they were having a sale on them at the time. They run $479 each. And she was wondering if we wanted something like that for the parks. We do not currently, other than Riverfront, have any place to post notices at any of the parks. I don't know if this is something that I told her I didn't think that we'd be able to order it in time for her order, but I would bring it up to the commission just for something for consideration as we do start to look at signage for the parks, because we really don't have a place for notice boards or anything to put up. And mainly Vets and Zelinsky, for example, for posting schedules or anything like that, we don't have any boards there. And we don't, obviously, at Church Street and Park Street, those are smaller parks. But if we do have one at Riverfront, it might make sense to consider something like that for when we re-sign Vets Field or re-sign Zelinsky. to have some place where we could post notices, whether it's about ticks or whether it's about sporting events or park and rec events or something. It's a good place to put flyers up. And I don't know if $500 is an average price for it or if it can be built into a sign, but it's something to consider.
It sounds like something that'll get vandalized.
So that's one of the reasons why the doors were there, so that people wouldn't necessarily put up random things or rip things down. But if it's part of a park sign, the one that's at Riverfront has not been vandalized.
Is that a
I
glass
think
one?
it's because not a lot of people go to the riverfront. I think if you put it at Zelinsky Field, it definitely is going to be vandalized.
What
I-
if
yeah.
we just have like a board up on the bathroom door, the bathroom building?
The one that gets kicked in all the
Those are
time?
the doors that keep getting ruined. Yeah.
Yeah, the doors get kicked in, but if we just put like a board up that's not a cork board with glass windows, it's just something we could staple notices to.
Maybe we could put a sign up that says not to kick in our door.
They open the other way now, I think. But
They do.
yeah,
But
yeah,
they can't kick them in.
they can pull them in, I guess.
They can kick them out.
Yeah. Oh, they'll get trapped in there. Hopefully, we got them. I think it's all good and well, but I agree that the vandalism thing probably would happen. So maybe we could just invest in probably best to put it on the fence. That's part of the backstop because that has the most visibility going to Zelinsky. Besides, the bathrooms really aren't open unless they're an event going on that's sanctioned by us. So I don't think there'd be a lot of people by the bathrooms, and like I said, unless they're kicking the door in. So maybe something just as simple as a 4x8 sheet of plywood with, I don't know if corkboard would hold up in the rain though. So that's probably why there's some type of roofing on it. So I guess,
Well, even the plywood, we could just staple things.
yeah, I
I
think
mean,
that's probably,
eventually it'll be too full of staples and we'd have to pull it down and replace it, but that takes a bit. So it's just something to consider. And actually the using it as the fencing near the backstop isn't such a bad idea. And then with Vets Field, since we're relooking at that whole thing anyway, we can figure that one out.
yeah, I agree. When we can reconstruct vets, we could probably come up with something in the design plan, kind of like that. You know, not something as grand as what's at Riverfront, but you know, something built into the rules. You know, the rules of the park and said posting area around that probably.
Yep.
Do we have anything in the works for Park Street or no? There was nothing that we had talked about.
There was nothing that we had talked about for that. There was having, there's discussion of whenever the park is renamed of having some sort of a sign for the park, which would probably be lower with the park name on it. Otherwise, it would just be a posting of the park and playground rules, probably near the parking and the playground.
And you
On
said
regular, like a just on a metal post,
Metal
like a metal
sign,
sign
yeah.
on a metal post.
and you
But
said
nothing
this
for posting.
$400 one was 4 8x10 pieces of paper, or is it?
It was about for like, regular sheets of, white
Okay.
sheets of paper. So the picture had, I can email it. Let me see if I think she put it up in my notes, so in Teams, so it's not going to actually pop up. It had 2 little glass doors that opened, or plexi doors that opened, and then inside it was 2 sheets of paper next to each other, and then another third one below, but in the middle to show that you could center it. And it had a little roof. It reminded me of the little free library sized things. They're not that hard to construct either. If somebody is sitting around with nothing to do on a weekend and wants to make a sign thing that's going to get vandalized. But or just the board, someplace to post things is better than nothing. So
I think the Park Street wouldn't be a bad idea. I wouldn't be against purchasing one for that, since that's a more visible park. It's going to be looking real nice over the next couple months, and I think we'd want to be able to, showcase some other things that the rec's offering through the, the posting or whatever.
Something like Church Street, couldn't we like zip tie something to the fence? I mean, if we're talking about all the parks.
I've noticed with the zip ties that because if it's paper, it gets ripped. But if we zip tie the plastic things, then as soon as it rains, even if they're laminated, the rain soaks through to the paper and blurs all the ink. So it wouldn't be able to be something that's posted more than short term. Like
No,
if there's
I was thinking like
there's a rainstorm, it's gonna get ruined.
I was thinking if we had some kind of plasticky, sheathy thing that we were able to post notices in and then just posted it to the fence there, so we didn't have to worry about constructing or purchasing really something for that park. If we were talking about being all inclusive to all of the parks, that's all. Just a thought.
What about the shed? Could we put something up
Yeah.
on the side of the shed? There? Because you know how there's the salt shed or sand shed there?
That's exactly what my peanut gallery husband just suggested.
There you go. So I'll ask about if we can put like 2x4 or like not 2x4s, like something like a 4x4 or something like that piece of plywood up, at least just to start, and then we'll see about other stuff. Staples, when I staple something that's been laminated, the water doesn't get in enough. It's the hole punches. I guess the water seems to get in more when I zip tie things with hole punched paper when they're laminated.
Okay.
All right. So I'll ask. So it's not a bad idea, and we'll look into some of the possibilities for that. Park regulations. Allison, were you able to find any of the rules and regulations for park usage that you thought you might have on your computer?
I did. I sent it back in October and then I sent it again the other day. So everybody should have it
Okay.
in your email.
All right. So at one point, then we should probably figure out sitting down with some people and going through those, and then looking at those, and then also looking at playground regulations so that we could get a short list for signs. Does Allison, do you and I want to do that, or do you want to do that with somebody else, or do we just want to do it and then just present it to the whole committee?
I don't mind. Jeff actually had a lot of opinions about it. Like you really shouldn't have a whole ton of policies on a sign, just something that says see our park policy or something, and then just it should say dusk, open dusk till dawn, and because there's so many rules and regulations, to put it all on a sign is just too much. So I don't know, do you want to be involved in that decision?
Sure.
Yeah.
Allison and Jeff. Okay.
I mean, stuff like, no narcotics. I mean,
Well, yeah.
that really don't need to put that on a sign. You know what I'm saying?
I think the no glass one might be useful, but only for people who are having picnics. I don't know if we want to have that or the parental supervision is important at playgrounds, just legally speaking. So so maybe write a short list up of what you think, and dogs on a leash kind of thing, and then we can do the playground regulations too, and then present those.
Okay.
If you send those to me, I'll type them up or something.
Okay.
Do we have a lot of livestock parades?
Is there a
Uh,
livestock parade rule?
Yeah.
I guess if you don't put it out there, people will do it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they definitely won't if we do.
Uh-huh.
So.
That's right. You won't see one lick of livestock if we put that sign up.
There you go.
Oh.
All right. So maybe we can plan that for, do you think we could do that for the next meeting?
Yeah, I'll Jeff and I will just kind of go through this list and maybe look at some online signs and things and try to come up with something. And
Okay,
then
and I'll look at the playground list and compare it off of that and also run over legally what we should have up for the playgrounds, like the
Mhm.
age and appropriate use and no bare feet kind of thing. And the surfacing. I'll see what the liability is if we don't have those signs up.
I've
And
never seen a no bare feet one.
you want to have closed shoes on most of these things because otherwise, if somebody's toe gets caught, most of the playground safety regs are for fingers and heads. They're not for toes because most kids should use them with, and if it's metal or something and it gets hot and the kid's walking around with bare feet, there's burn issues. So usually it's that they have to be wearing appropriate footwear. Don't use the ground when it's frozen, and parental supervision are usually the ones. Because if the ground is frozen, then the cushioning of the playground surfacing is nil.
Mhm.
So, and appropriate use and parent supervision. Those are there's like 4 main ones or something like that. So I'll go over those and see what we absolutely need, and then also have a list of other ones. So if you guys want to add in some other ones, we can,
Okay.
or not. Park Street Playground update. Eric.
Oh, I'm on.
Yeah, this is so sighting and orientation. Were you okay with the swings because there was some question about where the swings were?
Well, it made more sense after Mariah sent that email the other day about the path from the parking lot. So, I don't know if everyone saw, but Glenn did start the area for the park, and they're hopefully going to have the sign made for the picture of the new park before we put it up. So hopefully that gets done. But no, I think it's going to be great. There was concern about which way the swings were going to be, if they're going to be closer to Church Street or they're going to be closer to the center of the park. But the way that the structure is orientated, there's a ramp for access that faces the parking area, so it kind of has to be orientated that way. So
For wheelchair access.
for wheelchair access, yeah. So basically, the structures in the center, the swings are closer to the the wider end of Church Street and Park, right there.
And it means, I think also it meant that our ADA walkway didn't have to be super long and loop around,
Yeah,
which saves on
right.
the cost of that too.
Yeah, so should be
And
good.
just to update that sign, that the construction sign, Brian got the estimate from Dan Hill. I went back to him and asked him about the size and the finishing and the sanding and whatever on the posts. And Dan gave us another quote for the sign with the same information but smaller and unpainted. And it comes in at, I think it was under 700, so it was like 600 something. So that saved a couple a couple $100 off of that because it was close to 1,000 the last time. So. The only other thing for the playground siting is where that swing bench that we ordered, it doesn't have an in-ground attachment, so that can actually be sited wherever, and I didn't see that in the park. So I think that we have to decide on a location and then a concrete pad, or if we want mulch, that needs to be sort of positioned somewhere in the park. Did you see it, Eric, in Cindy's design at all?
No, I didn't see it. I thought the last email from her said it was up to us to put it somewhere. That
Yeah,
wasn't
that's what I
part of
thought.
her. Yeah.
So that might be something that we need to figure out a location for. If we're just gonna have, if we want to have it off of a pathway, then that would determine, like, wherever the pathways are, that would determine where we would put it. Otherwise, the idea was that it could be something that was a little away from the playground so that adults could use it kind of without kids all around. And it wouldn't get taken over by the playground folks. And it could have some sort of flowers or landscaping or something around it. So that was just, we would just have to figure out where to put that. I think that's the only thing that hasn't been located in the park by all the painted lines and things. And we could have mulch underneath it. That's ADA compliant because a wheelchair can cross the mulch. Or we could have it on a cement pad, which is less attractive, but it's viable. Or we could have pebbles. So whatever you guys want to have underneath it, we could do.
So it wouldn't have to be in that big mulched area?
No.
Okay, because I feel like it's a pretty good sized park and everything's just crammed into that one square. So I guess it would be nice having something else somewhere.
Yep. There's also there are picnic tables and a bench that's in other places that are not in the playground area, but the big square is largely because we had to have such a huge crash zone for the 8-foot tall play structure. And then the swings also have a large crash zone. So their use zone makes that big mulchy area necessary. But there is some stuff scattered out. It's just not that much comparatively. So it could be over by, there's 2 picnic tables along Park Street that are there now that we could site it near one of, or we could put it someplace like where the old swings used to be, or wherever you really want to put it. We could move it around.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Maybe I'd have to go look at it again to see exactly, but maybe somewhere, like you said, away from all the kids stuff, because it seems like if you're there, all the stuff is at that kids area. So I like the idea of putting it maybe where the old swings were, somewhere away where maybe older folks could sit down without kids running around.
Does anybody know have we placed the trees yet with Mike?
I have not been in on any conversations with that. No.
Okay.
Me neither.
maybe we could talk with him, somebody could talk with him about where the trees seem to make the most sense to go, and one of the trees that's away from the playground could have the swing bench near it, so it's in the shade.
I see Parks.
I know he pulled out the 2 trees that are along Central Street. I don't know if he pulled out 3 trees or just 2 though. I think there was plans for a 3rd one, but I don't know if he actually did it. Because I can't remember now.
I'm trying to see what I can follow up with them on that.
Okay.
What would look the best?
And what would work the best with, because I know Glenn's regrading that slope in that corner where the swings used to be, and that might also, I don't know if that impacts where we would put a swing if there's a lot of runoff or anything from there.
Yeah, looking at the pictures. I don't think there's anything over there anymore. All the trees are gone. Except for the one. The opposite end. Yeah, so where the swings are, everything's out of there. So basically down by the
other
the
trees go.
narrow end. Yeah, basically that's
Because
yeah.
I drove past the other day and everything is cleared out, but where the swings were, it's just like a dirt hill. So I think there's only that one tree left by the other picnic table.
Yeah.
The one that's kind of in the middle of the street, like of that edge of the park.
No, more down towards the point of
I think
is
it's
that
right across
Union?
the section, right? Pretty much.
Yeah. Corner of Union, what is that?
Union and Park.
And Park, yeah. The short
Okay.
the short corner.
So then we have, Mike is planning on replanting, at least 2 of the trees, maybe 3. And so maybe we can figure out where we still have to figure out with him what kind of trees. I don't know what he's thinking. But somebody needs to figure out with him what kind of trees that you guys want there, and then that might help determine where we put the swing.
Okay. I'll follow up on that.
Okay. For the park renaming, I asked Brian about having that be part of the town meeting, and he sent us a couple of emails. One stating that the rec commission, you guys have the authority to change the name of the parks on your own. You don't have to go with the town approval. And then when I asked him if it would be possible to do like something at that time, what time would he need, what dates would he need information by, just to get a public submission or whatever there. And he said we could set up a table or something. I guess the Cultural Council has done surveys at the town meetings where they have a table set up and they'll conduct a survey then. We can either put out the park renaming calls for submissions and have them due, or let people turn them in at the town meeting, or we could have a table with the paperwork asking for submissions and then give people the information there. And then ask for the submissions by a different time, I guess, if we want. Because we have some time, because I don't think that the whole park is going to be installed with walkways and everything until sometime midsummer. So I guess Mariah had been talking about potentially having a sort of a grand celebration opening, even though it would already be open, and a renaming, dedication, whatever thing, maybe in the end of August or in September. So we could even rename it at that point. So that gives us like the whole summer to go through submissions and pick a name. But it didn't sound like we would be able to have the town vote on something like that at the town meeting, because they would need the information a lot earlier to mail it out.
I personally, I don't really care for the idea of doing a town vote on it. I think I like the idea of taking submissions and then we just go through them and pick. I mean, I think there's 5 of us. We can figure it out, you know. It's just a lot of
Well, then we can't overcomplicate it.
it's just overcomplicated, right? Let's just, I mean, put a call out for submissions and you know, 3 people will respond and we'll take it from there. I don't think we need to do a town vote since we don't have to.
So do we want to have a table or something up at the park meeting, or at the town meeting? I'm sorry, town meeting.
Well, I guess if we're going to ask for submissions, I mean, that's one way to put it out there as to what we're doing. But I don't care either way, like with regards to what Allison said. I'm fine either way. Us just voting or a town vote doesn't matter to me. But I think we
Okay.
need to get the word out somehow so people don't seem to read things
Right.
What?
when you put them in the around town. So you might as well have a table and maybe it would stop more people.
Once we get all these cork boards up, we'll be able to put it there.
So so I can put in an announcement in the May around town or about town, because that's when it'll go in, because April 10th is the deadline.
Yep.
And then I'll tell Brian that we would like to have a table at the town meeting.
Yeah, we take
And
suggestions.
we'll also, what?
We take suggestions that day, and then we give them a week to submit or something like that,
Yep.
and then we go from there.
Can
Okay,
you
so
tell
like
the meeting is so I can put it on
end
my
of
calendar?
all right, so May.
Bretta, when is the town meeting? I want to make sure I put it on my calendar.
Oh, geez, you're gonna ask me. I don't know. It's May something, isn't it?
May 5th, I thought.
I thought so too. It's like the first. It's usually the first week in May. First Wednesday in May is May 5th, so it's that week.
Might be on a Saturday though, because it was just the other day there was a town meeting yesterday morning.
Hold on, let me check. You can see me check. Let's see.
The 8th, maybe.
I can't figure out how to do this. Okay. Town meeting is annual town election is May 3rd. So that's the Monday. Monday, May 3rd. So maybe we could have the table there and accept submissions up until, we could even go to the end of May. but that gives them too much time to forget about it.
I don't know. I think I don't think a month is terrible, but
If
gives us
teachers
time to gives us time to collect them for the end of our month meeting and discuss it then, I guess.
it also, if any of the teachers want to do anything with it
How
at the
about we give them
school,
till
I
we
don't know if
filled up
any
the
kids
table?
would want to do anything. So end of May. Our meeting is May 30th that weekend. That's Memorial Day weekend. You guys want to have a meeting on Memorial Day weekend?
No, we'll probably all be out of town that
No,
weekend.
thank you.
So
Oh,
then
Yes, please.
me. I'll be here.
the next weekend is going to be June 6th. So we could take submissions up until May 31st.
Yeah, take them through the end of the month, and then we discuss it on June 6th at our meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
As we pawn through the 2 suggestions.
It's gonna take a while to look through them
Good
all.
thing there's 5 of us for a tiebreaker.
All right.
Maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised this time. Who knows?
Oh yeah.
We have a lot of opinionated people when it comes to naming something important.
Oh.
Tell Mark he only gets 1 vote.
But they only care about it after you name it, though.
Right. Oh, we're so cynical. We need some pep in this group.
Well, the park has gotten a lot of attention.
Yeah.
So, with regard to the park, this is not on our agenda, but I guess a couple of parents whose kids use the playground a lot have been collecting hula hoops and some toys that are not locked down for their kids to go and play. And since the Park Street Park is all ripped up, I suggested that everybody go use Vets Field for big field play, so we didn't end up with giant holes dug all over the dirt and everything. But they were asking if there was a place to store toys or anything there, and I said not really, because everything's locked up. And there's no storage at Vets really that's publicly accessible.
Right.
So they were thinking of putting the hula hoops with a bike lock and sort of tucking them someplace. And I said, well, if they want to do that, they can, but it's at their own risk.
So that would just be for their use, though. Why can't they just bring them back?
Exactly.
So
They're going to be able to unlock them.
they would post the combination on Irving Moms and Dads, and anybody who wanted to access them could access them with the combination.
I think
Irving's moms and dads.
Yeah, I say no.
Okay.
Like they weigh literally a pound each, if a pound total. So truck them back and forth.
It's a nice thought, but it's a little over complicated.
Okay.
I'm gonna lock my go-kart up there.
All right. Got it. Her other thing, she said, well, I guess I'll just keep them on my porch at my house and people can come up and grab them if they want them. So that was the other thing. All right. So
great idea.
There you go. Oh, so that's it for Park Street, unless anybody has anything else for now. Church Street, Brian did hear back from the person at Broder Campbell Fencing, and we are on their list, and he knows that we're in there. They're just waiting. I guess probably by now the ground is unfrozen, but last week there was still ice a little bit down when they were working on a different site. So they said that he's just waiting to make sure that he doesn't schedule it at a date when they can't actually put it in. So Brian is in contact with him and we will get the fencing put in ASAP as soon as the ground is defrosted. Because Brian has also a couple of sites that they have to fence as well. So that is still coming. And then all the other stuff will go up, the trash can and the bench, and we'll put up playground signs and everything. Zelensky, the equipment removal, we need to vote to surplus the swing sets and merry-go-round there. I don't know when Glenn is going to get to it. But at least we'd have, because I guess the surplusing process takes a little bit. So we can vote to surplus it. You guys can vote to surplus it. And then it may take several months before the select board gets around to actually discussing the surplus proposal. So just to get it started, because we do need to resurface that as soon as Park Street's done, I would like, if it's okay with you guys, I would like to get the request to surplus the equipment in as soon as possible to just sort of speed that through.
That was the merry-go-round, and what was the reasoning for the other swing set? Is it too?
The swing sets that are there, there's 1, 2, 3 sets of swing sets there that were all put in at the same time that the swing sets at Church Street Playground were put in, and they were put in the same way. So the concrete cylinders that the posts are sunk into are too close to the surface. And when they jackhammer them out, they're going to have to end up pulling out the whole thing. We already have the 2 swing sets to replace them. We just need to vote to surplus the existing 3 swing set structures and the merry-go-round.
I will not go on record as being the person to make the motion to get rid of the merry-go-round, so someone else is going to have to do it.
Brian also thought it might be easier to replace the merry-go-round once it was removed. That's unofficial. But he sort of said, yeah, once you get it removed, it'll be easier to request funds for it.
Oh yeah, everything's easy that way. I hear crickets.
Anyone make a motion to surplus the swing sets and merry-go-round at Zelensky Parks?
Where's Melanie Burnett when you need her?
I'll make a motion to surplus the swings merry-go-round. Can we get rid of the stupid balance beam too?
That
Get
does
rid of
not,
everything.
that one actually doesn't need to be replaced.
Nobody ever uses that thing. The one thing that's worthless there, you want to keep.
Bingo.
Okay, so I made the motion.
All in favor of surplusing the swing set and merry-go-round?
Somebody has to second
Oh,
it.
sorry.
I second.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Wait a minute here. How many? There was 1 nay, 3 ayes. The ayes have it. Any other discussion? Approved. Could we just put in the merry-go-round first, I guess, for orders? Because I don't feel like we should remove the swings.
Well, I don't know when they're going to be removed,
Right.
and we already have the swings to replace the swing set, so we already have those.
Okay.
So, the merry-go-round request may have to be part of another round of things to ask for capital requests or something like that. If we want to look at what's going on at that park and make a bigger request for the surfacing, etc.
Okay.
But I can price out merry-go-rounds and see
Do they
what.
spin or they just sit there?
The what?
Does it just actually sit there or does it actually spin?
They will actually spin.
Okay.
It's funny because merry-go-rounds are harder to find now because of the more kids are more interested in the things that spin in nets and things. But I'll take a look for spinners and merry-go-rounds.
I've been at Zelinsky Park in the last like 2 weeks. I was there twice, and every single time there is kids on the merry-go-round. Not one of them has used the structure except for my kid, but they're all on the merry-go-round.
Yep.
Bite your tongue, Renee.
It
I
might
know.
be, and it might actually be, I will check out merry-go-rounds and other types of spinners, like other options that are like merry-go-round type spinners, like multi-kid things. Because they're not calling them merry-go-rounds anymore, which is annoying, but okay, because I keep typing in merry-go-rounds and not finding anything. So so I'll see what some of the going prices are for those to replace. And see what that is. All right, the ground resurfacing, we're still, you said that you wanted to wait and get Park Street done first, so I have taken a hold on that. About getting quotes for it, like updated quotes for it, because we just had the quote from last year. But that was just for the playground surfacing. It wasn't for the removal and the installation. Would you like me to start to get prices for that? When are we or for maybe the end of the summer, or are we looking at pushing this another year?
I think we need to start pricing it out now because the way that everything moves, I mean, by the time we get some quotes, you'd have to get 3 quotes because Glenn can't do it. So to redo the mulch, which we have capital for, and was
The
the
walkway.
walkway a Glenn project or was that a walkway?
Glenn doesn't do the walkway, so that would have
Right.
been contracted out anyway.
Okay.
And the funds for that were just for laying in the walkway and purchasing the resurfacing materials. It wasn't for the installation or removal of the old materials, because that was originally something that we were hoping that the highway department could do.
Is it, what park is this for?
This is Zelinsky.
I thought we decided we were going to wait until one was finished before we moved on to another.
Well, I can price it out and see what it's going to be, because the playground at Zelinsky right now doesn't have adequate surfacing for the play structures or the swings. So the surfacing right now is out of safety compliance.
So why didn't we do that one first?
Park Street Playground was already underway and it didn't have any surfacing.
Okay, so
So
can
none
we
of
still
the
wait until this one's done?
So none of the playgrounds have adequate surfacing because it hasn't been maintained since, I think, almost since they were installed. So we're playing major catch up with the playgrounds. And that was one of the reasons why Vets Field Playground was just removed entirely.
You mean Park Street?
No, Vets.
Vets?
Remember last summer?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Like, I would, like I said last time, I like to finish them before we moved on, but it's what everybody wants.
We also don't need to do the reinstallation until after Park Street is finished, if you want. I could just get quotes, see what it costs, and then that would be what we could base our requests. If we have to have an additional request, we could base any additional requests for next year on the quotes.
Have we already gotten capital improvement funds for that? Like,
No.
you're waiting. Oh, okay. So yeah, we definitely probably should get some quotes so we know what to ask for, because that's
Okay.
going to be due before we know it.
Those will be due in October for next year, for fiscal
Yeah,
year.
so maybe get some quotes. That way we can put it in for our budget, for October. You said.
And as Brian said, I guess when he was talking to Eric and I, the question is for something like that, because it's also going to be coordinating between somebody who's laying a path, somebody who's digging something out, somebody who's contracting with the surfacing people to purchase it and put it in, and then install the playground thing. Do we want to try to manage and coordinate all that on our own? Or do we want to go to somebody like a playground designer and or a project manager and say, what would be your bucket price? You know, what's your package price for this? Overseeing it, coordinating it, and actually the work.
I think that's a good idea. I think we've fallen into some traps before because we do try to do things ourselves. So I think having, one general contractor for the job is a good idea.
Okay. All right, so I will get some quotes from people about managing and overseeing the whole project, and then come back to you guys, and we'll look at it from there. Ground resurfacing and walkway, that's part of the whole thing. The next thing is the collaborations within the town, which I have the library gardening grants project. That's still being submitted, so just a letter of support is going out from that stating that we support the library's grant application and the gardening projects, and that we will help them promote it through focused, targeted programming like a seed exchange or a planting program or something, and then also promoting whatever activities they have through our social media. There's one other collaboration within the town thing that I have that just came up this week. I sent a message out to Michelle Turner for the local cultural council. She said that they do have a full cultural council. They didn't know anything. They weren't planning on doing any summer concert series, obviously, because they had passed it over to us. And so when I asked if the cultural council would be interested in partnering with us, they said, well, where would the budget come from? Do you have funds for this? And my response was no, because we didn't know we were on the docket for it until after the budget requests had been submitted. And so there's no funding for it currently, and that usually the cultural council provides the funding to the bands. That's what happened in the past. So, and it's sort of frozen there. She said that, she said she would bring it to the cultural council, but it sounds like they don't have funding for it. We don't have funding for it, so it's not going to happen this summer. I will reopen conversations a little later if she doesn't get back to me about potentially doing it for next year, when we can actually, the two committees can actually budget for it, and see if it's something that we want to do. But in the meantime, our one scheduled event that the cultural council did book was the Bad News Jazz and Blues Band, the same guys that played before the COVID shutdown, the last time around 2 summers ago. They're scheduled for the 4th Saturday in June. They requested a rain date be set so that they can set the rest of their summer schedule and still have a rain date for us. Michelle proposed the 4th Saturday in August, and they are available. Are you guys okay with using that as a rain date for them?
I'm fine with that, but just so y'all know, Jeff and I will not be here the 4th Saturday in June. I don't know when we set that date, but we'll be out of town.
The Cultural Council requested it as a sort of just renting the pavilion or renting the band shell.
You're going to miss out.
So we just need to make sure that the electoral access and stuff is. Does somebody need to be there to make sure that they have that, or is that always on?
I think it's always on. Jeff stepped out to get something to drink, so I'll ask him when he comes back.
Okay. So the fourth Saturday in August is one of the dates that we had reserved tentatively for if we were going to be able to do a summer concert series. So I know that the band shell is available that date. And so are you all okay if I say yay to the rain date?
I am.
I guess
I'm
so.
fine with it.
Okay.
Is the electrical always working there?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's good.
Okay.
Except for the lights.
But it's a day concert, or it won't be dark out. So.
Yeah, it's gonna start at 6:30. They requested that because the sun, I guess, at 6 o'clock is in their faces. So they requested that the concert start at 6:30. And it'll still be light out. Okay. Anything else on collaborations within town that anybody else knows? All right. Summer Parks program. Location. Eric, do you want to talk about what Brian had talked about?
So as you well know, the school is going through some renovations, so we can't use inside the school for summer park. Brian and I discussed it. I don't know, at our park meeting a couple weeks ago, between the library and the community center, to use as a space for rainy days. I guess I need to follow up with him again to see what Paula's thoughts were. That was mainly the concern we had. So.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's the double usage of the senior, the great room. I
Great
guess
room,
sometimes
yeah.
she uses it she's concerned about the seniors using the room and then having kids come in.
Are they using that right now?
Not at the moment.
No, not a single soul has been in that building for about a year.
And as Brian said, he said that it's a community room. It's a community center, not just a senior center. So he said that he would talk to her about it. So the summer parks program would still be held outside at the school using the tent and porta potties. We may have to bring in a second porta potty with that many kids. And then otherwise the question is the interior location. For hiring and staffing, we're all set. I'm gonna list things and get that going. Places have just last week started to list summer positions for teaching and things like that, so, and counselors. So I'll get that listed at GCC. I'll see if the high schools have anything to list it at. I'll list it on Facebook and we'll get it listed on the town website. Those are the main places. Facebook and the town website are the main places that we've gotten responses from. I'll also list it in the local papers. Brian said that we are still at a print out the application and mail it in situation, and that there's certain things that need actual physical signatures on. So until they work that out, they're still trying to get the town over to an electronic application thing, but there will still be signatures that need to be mailed in anyway. And that just hasn't happened yet, but they're looking into it. So it would still largely be printed out, mail it in applications. I will put out the call for all three, director, assistant director, and counselors, unless you think I should start with the assistant director and director first and hold off a little bit on counselors. You guys have high school kids more than I do, so, or you know them more than I do. Are they starting to look now, or would it be wiser to list it sooner, closer to the summer for high school kids?
I would
Yeah, I
list
would say go ahead
because,
and list it.
yeah,
Go ahead
kids
and
are
list
scarfing up jobs elsewhere, so I'd
it.
list
Okay,
it.
all right. I will do that. Registration, the CDC just released some, I just got an email, I haven't finished looking through it. Got an email talking about summer parks programs and summer camps, things to consider to plan for COVID. The suggestions, I'll share it around with you once I look at it and see if what of it is useful and what isn't. There are suggestions about planning ahead and saying, okay, maybe we don't have drop-in days, or maybe we have a cohort that's a drop-in pod kind of group where the kids who are there every day don't mix, which to me for our population sounds hard to do, and everybody mixes anyway because they're all in classes together. But they're talking about how to have smaller groupings, making sure that the same counselors are with the same groups and don't switch groups. Things like reducing the points of contact for the summer, especially because kids aren't getting vaccinated. And many of our counselors are going to fall into that. They're going to be considered kids as well. They're not going to be old enough to get vaccines. And also the general public may not be fully vaccinated by the time summer parks programs come, depending on how that goes. So I'll read through that and then share that out. But otherwise, my thought is that are we still going for 40 spaces for the summer, or are we considering it smaller with more staff per group? Or so that's something to think about,
Are we
is
going
how
to
big
think
or
about,
small do we want the camps?
I think if we just offer it to Irving residents, it would probably limit itself that way. That'd
Yep.
be one way to get the attendance down, but we definitely wouldn't need to hire as many counselors for sure. So I don't know.
Yeah, I
I think
agree.
we
If it's
stay in
limited to
town
Irving,
just because if we're using the senior center, school, the library, I think we're gonna need, and it's our first year doing this with everything going on. I think we just need to manage it internally.
Meaning,
And not internally, but manage it residents only.
okay,
I think probably half of the kids, well, maybe not half, but a good portion of them were well, last year was just, or the season before was just with just so many of the summer school kids too. That really put a, you know, it was like 20 kids, wasn't it? Almost 17 kids, something like that.
so is it like basically 2/3 Irving, 1/3 out of town?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because the summer school kids were like Orange, Leverett, and all that, and then
In Shutesbury.
Shutesbury and things.
There
They
are
were
also, I know that there's also grandparents who often register their grandchildren who come for the summer. So the children have to be residents of Irving themselves.
have to be going to our school.
Okay.
Yeah, so or maybe just children be residents of Irving because you may have some families that.
Right. That age, I guess that age, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. All right. So the children must be residents of Irving. All right.
yeah.
So So I'll work with that and see look at the numbers and see the information. Then I'll share the CDC guidelines or recommendations for planning with you when I
So
forward
I
that.
have a question. So the last couple of years, I mean, we really haven't hired kids per se, and the vaccination is 16 plus.
Oh, is it 16? I thought it was 18. It's 16
Well,
plus?
I hear it's opening up to 16 plus at the end of this month because I've been keeping an eye on it for my own 16-year-old. I mean, is it something, or do we mandate that you are a
No,
vaccinated
absolutely not.
I don't
person?
think legally we can. We can't legally require vaccines.
No.
Okay. Well, I know the school does, so.
I think as an employer, we cannot. Schools also can't mandate that their staff get vaccines. It's the employer-employee relationship.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Last under summer parks, apparently some juggler. I don't remember there ever being a juggler hired for the recreation program, but that's me. A juggler received funding from the Cultural Council and has contacted me asking us if we want him to perform for the summer parks program. Do I want to, should I
think
start
that's a good
booking
idea.
things like that or no?
I say you do, Greta, because we're gonna have a new director this year, so they're gonna come in completely blind. So I used
Okay.
to when I had your job, I booked everything because we had kids that would come in the day before summer park started, and they were the director. So I would go ahead and start booking stuff.
Okay. So I will put him down for a date. I'll figure out a date with him then.
Okay.
I do believe we had a juggler. She had a circus week, I think, a couple
Okay.
years back.
So that must have been what he was talking about. All right. That's it for summer parks. Baseball, t-ball, softball. Eric, have you found anything out? Because I've heard that Vermont and New Hampshire can do whatever they want. We can't. So,
I reached out to Berniston, Vernon, Northfield, Winchester. Everyone seems to be having their own internal leagues with Winchester and Vernon having enough kids to play against themselves. Berniston and Northfield were open to traveling, but I guess they had concerns about size of teams. I think like everyone is. I'm not against us having anything. I don't think we will have a baseball team. I can't devote any more time to coaching another team. I already
do
have
you think
one.
that there's enough for just t-ball or no?
I think there would be some interest in it. I don't know who we'd have for I don't know any of the newer parents. I mean, last time we had it, we had an out-of-towner coaching it. So,
Okay.
who was a former resident but had their grandchild playing. So,
I also think though many towns have already had signups, so you
yeah,
might
we're
not get
behind.
yeah, you might not get many people that haven't already signed up somewhere else. The signups were due for Greenfield and Turner's this weekend. Greenfield League actually had their tryouts today, I believe, or yesterday.
Was Greenfield going to other towns or was it residents only?
No, they go to other towns. They just play at a Lunt Field, so anybody can join their team.
Okay.
That's just like Newt too. Anybody
Right,
can join the
Greenfield
Newt Field.
and New, anybody can join, I believe.
Yeah.
So maybe we just put it, well, I guess we can't really put it out there to reach out to those towns if they've already had tryouts.
The kids would be our, I mean, our children in that age group have already made decisions on where they're playing baseball. I'd
think
be more concerned about
You all.
the younger group, basically, like a T-ball, which he really is always in-house anyways, and doesn't really require too much for like pre-registration as far as like getting gear and t-shirts and all that stuff together. So
So we could put a registration out for T-ball with the condition that we would need a volunteer coach from one of the parents.
the first place we could
That's all.
start, I don't know. I don't know what else we could try. Anybody have any other thoughts on that? I mean, I don't know of any of the parents of that younger group,
I don't really
moms
know
or
anybody.
dads, that would.
Mm, like I said, I think if people really wanted to play, then they already signed up somewhere else.
Yeah.
So is it a pass this year?
I'm fine with that. I don't speak for everyone though, obviously.
We're fine
What
with
did you?
that. I can speak for Jeff.
I didn't even hear the question.
If you want to
I would
pursue the interest of T-ball.
Yeah. If
I
it's a
don't care.
pass this year or not.
I don't care. I
I
think
mean,
it's going to be hard
the only other thing I could see doing is if Northfield is concerned about numbers, seeing if they want to just do a strictly outdoor baseball, T-ball thing where there's
Is Northfield doing any rec stuff?
is
Eric?
who doing?
Uh,
Is North doing any rec?
yeah.
Oh, because I heard that. Well, I know some of the people from Northfield are going to Greenfield. That's why I thought they didn't have a rec team this year.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can look back at my email here.
Renee, have you seen anything at the school?
No, I haven't, but I know at least two parents that go there that are sending their kids to Greenfield, and I haven't heard any talk about rec sports at all. So I don't know.
I know the last 2 years that the bigger athletic families from Northfield have had their kids play in the Greenfield League. I'm not sure if that was due to numbers, if that was due to lack of their ability to field teams like us. It seems like everybody has kind of gone to Greenfield or new.
Yeah,
I actually believe there was a full Northfield team in Greenfield last year, but they played in Greenfield.
Turner's does that too.
That's last year. I'll reach out to that group again and see what people's thoughts are, but we probably have missed the window on T-ball, and I think we just hold off on it for now.
Okay.
I think so.
All right. Summer soccer camp, Jill, if they can't use the inside auditorium, does it sound like it's something that could happen?
I will reach out to them and let them know that we don't have an inside area. I believe there's other places that don't either. But I will reach out. I had contact with Mo and he has connected me with the new regional manager for this area, so it's no longer him. So I'll reach out and see what they have to say.
Okay.
But I believe that would still be a go if there's no inside area. I believe they just cancel and end up extending the week somehow.
And I think last time we had it, don't you remember they kind of just stayed outside when it was sprinkling? It wasn't really, they stay underneath those little tents. I think it.
Yeah, it's just if there's like a big downpour, I mean, that can obviously
I
it's
think
predictable.
I think they just extended it or something. You're right.
Okay. So we'll wait and hear back on that. And with the summer concerts, I already filled you in on that. I'm still waiting to hear from them about if they want to do it, but it doesn't sound like it's a go for this year. So hopefully in the future we'll figure out something, and I said that we would be interested as long as it was under the same conditions where they handle all the booking and the musician contracting and selecting, and we would do the site management, and that's it. With just kind of being there, but not setting up extra chairs, etc. So hopefully we'll have some conversations about that. Other business, there was a request from someone because she was looking for dog training classes, and I guess there's not a lot up here. So the idea was somebody suggested to her to contact us to see if we would be willing to set up a dog training class with a trainer that residents could then purchase into. So like, would we be interested in hosting a dog training class that people could sign up for, residents could sign up for, and employees of the town could sign up for, something like that, and hold it at one of the parks? I guess other places that she contacted said that a recreation department would be the best place to check because of the park use.
I would say a private class would be the best place to check.
I think the issue is that during COVID, a lot of the private classes that were inside have been canceled. So that the idea was trying to find an outside space that
Gotcha.
was affordable. So is the rec commission interested in holding dog training classes, or contacting that and offering
Yeah,
it?
is that something they would come with their own like insurance and stuff? Because what if a dog bites somebody in our park?
Yeah.
So that would come with like the person who trains would have their own insurance for that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So-
that would be
I would
the
say
only
they would have to,
stipulation.
and I'm sure that anyone who
that-
actually holds those type of classes probably does have some type of insurance like that. But yes, Renee, good idea.
I would hope so.
I
So
That's the
are
only thing I'd
the
a
idea
liability.
necessarily, but we've had one person ask about it, so I don't feel like there's a huge need for it. But if someone wants to look up or talk to trainers and see if that's something they even do, I don't know. But I don't know. I don't think we have to jump and do everything that's suggested either.
I also think it's a really expensive thing to do. I looked into doing dog classes, and it was going to cost me like $300 to train my dog. So I think it might be actually fairly pricey too.
Right, and I
Maybe
think
like
this person is
$20
probably
thing.
looking for a good deal, and like if the rec sponsored it, maybe we'd pay for it or something, but I don't see that happening, so it's still going to be expensive because there are dog trainers around here. So,
Oh yeah, I said my dogs are horrible because I didn't want to pay $300 to train them. That's
Well, and
no
I kind of
fun.
feel like
Yeah.
I kind of feel like any dog trainer that's out there could ask to use our outdoor space if they wanted to.
there you go. Right.
That's what I was gonna see. I was gonna see if you were seeing this more as like the request for the aerobics classes or whatever in a park.
Right. If it were a dog trainer that were coming and saying to us, we'd like to use your park, then I think, but for us to go out and set up a program, I don't know. I just don't see it.
Whatever happened to the yoga in the park or whatever?
I
She
think
never
she was one Turner's.
she
Yeah, I
contacted
believe she is
and
at Highland Park and Unity.
yeah.
Oh,
I think she had
there.
set up things in other towns. So, and then when I contacted her with questions, it took her about a month to get back to me with some answers, and then she never followed up on that again.
Not
So,
super serious about ours. Yeah.
or she found other places in her
Yeah.
Yeah, Renee,
schedule.
it was Sarah Maylou.
I know, and she's part of that F45, so I bet it was going to be pretty
Right,
hardcore.
right. Correct.
It wasn't going to be a jaunt in the park. Yeah.
Okay. Other business. Jill, you had come to me with a question about the Lowe's 100 hometown grants.
Yeah, so during my stay at the hospital this past week, considering I had a lot of time on my hands, I saw a commercial about how Lowe's is sponsoring 100 hometowns with a grant to help eligible projects, including community spaces such as parks, youth centers, neighborhood housing, cultural preservation, and area revitalization. All they're looking for is like pictures and like a short video. So I had just reached out to Bretta and said, is this something that we wanted to try to do to help get some funding for, say, vets? I mean, we always talk about grants, and grants writing is just so intensive, and this did not seem that involved. And you have until, trying to think, it just says that the amount of the grant is based on our level of request. So it's, the grant could be, enough for a play structure. It could be enough for a pavilion. But it's like Lowe's using their resources to help 100 hometowns revitalize to some degree. So it was just
I
a
definitely
thought.
think we could make a video with those girls and those hula hoops in the dirt, and we are going to win this thing.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
This is what we do. And there were, I think that the due date was it May or something like that?
I'm trying to click the thing that I sent you, but it's not coming up.
And I know
yeah,
that
I think
the project needed to be completed by 2021, the end of 2021. So play structures or something like that at Vets Field would be a little too, I think that's time-wise, that's pushing it, but something like putting in a pavilion
Mm-hmm.
or
and it says you can nominate up to 2 unique projects per
Yep.
town. But I just figured to be able to send a quick short video and potentially, I mean, I don't know. In all honesty, I don't know how many people respond to these type of things. I can tell you, when Walmart put out a thing about doing a commercial, I was like, well, hell, I'll send them a 30-second video. I'm sure thousands of other people will too. And there was a lot of people, but it wasn't. Walmart has millions of people working for them, and I believe it was like 2,000 people submitted a video for that commercial. So I mean, I think a lot of people see these things and don't really go into depth on them. And if we're looking for funding, and it was just by sending in a video of our area and, hey, this is what we'd like to do here, how difficult is that?
So
That was
what type of people are supposed to send in videos? Like rec commissions or like citizens? Like, if I was like, oh,
could
I
be
want,
anybody.
I wonder if we could put it on social media. Like, can you think of something you would want for this park and make a video and send it in or something? I mean, not that, I mean, one of us can't do it, but I mean, they're probably looking for videos of, I don't know, like if we said we wanted to do a track around Zelensky and we needed the handicap thing. They're probably going to look at some heartstrings types of things,
We could show a wheelchair stuck in the mud.
No.
Well, the only thing I could see is if we open it up and ask general public to send some things in, they could request funds for anything. And then once the grant comes in, those funds, so I think it has to come from the town itself, or, and not all towns have rec commissions, not all towns have town planners, depending, or they have bigger things, or maybe it would come from, like, I don't know, a girls club group. So it can come from really anybody, but I think if it's something for the parks, it should probably come from the commission itself, so that
It
it's
says,
what you actually want.
yeah, on the site it says the application process is 10 minutes. And it says the information you'll need is a project location and contact info, project details, 3 photos, and an optional video. And it says sample nomination. It says community resource space. And it asks, how are you involved with the project you're nominating? And it just says employee of town. What is the project you're nominating and why is it important to you? And it just says, they give a brief description as to why they think they need community resource space in their community center. And then they post 3 pictures of what their community center looks like. And it is it literally looks like the old Irving Elementary School, our old stomping grounds, all boarded up. And it just says, what is, but yeah, it says you have from March. It looks like the third week of April.
Okay.
And it just says what kind of projects can be proposed. Project types could include community resource space, park, senior center, youth center, neighborhood housing, critical repairs needed, accessible home needs, cultural preservation, a theater, memorial renovation, sustainability, area revitalization.
We should ask for a rec center with a swimming pool and a basketball court.
Correct. And it just says that they contact you if your project has been selected, but it just didn't seem like it was that involved of a process. So that's why I said, hey, like, is there something that we could think of at Vets that we can go down there and take 3 pictures of a park that has nothing?
Picture of our rec building and say, this is what we got.
We don't have a rec building anymore.
Exactly. Take a picture.
So,
but I mean, and just say, this is what we'd like to do.
It didn't really say like an amount or anything. So like, Vets is going to be several $1 million probably. So
it just says the amount would vary based on project proposed.
So if we went for a discrete part of Vets and just said we want
pavilion.
Yeah.
We want a rec center, but we'll settle for a pavilion.
Yeah.
Or if we want a rec center and, whatever, and we want to, I don't know if they finished looking at the library, though, is the problem. Or if we want a Tots playground at Vets Field, it just, the only limitation is that the project needs to be finished by the end of 2021.
So, like, to me, Vets is just too big. We can't just say, okay, we want a Tots thing, because you can't put that in until we figured out where we're going to put, parking and pavilions and basketball courts and baseball, so you can't just throw something in there like that. So if we're going to do this, it's going to have to be like renovate the library to be our new rec center, or put a track up at Zelinsky Field, or the handicap, walkway at Zelinsky. It's got to be something that nothing else is going to hinge on. Don't you think?
Rec center.
I guess. I don't know. I kind of looked at it as, I see what you're saying. I kind of looked at it as like, well, hell, if they want to put us up a pavilion at Vets, let's just pick a spot and tell them to do it. It'll be free. I don't know. I mean, I was also on a lot of drugs, so who knows? Maybe I just had
I would love a pavilion. That's been my number one thing, but I just don't know. Can we just throw one up there and then everything else will work? Because what if when we finally do this park plan, they go, oh, the pavilion's in the way. That's where the edge of the baseball field is going to be, or I just feel like when
Why
we
can't we work around that? I mean, like if we just got a grant to fund putting up a freaking, pavilion for free, is there a way for them to then revitalize our park around that pavilion,
right.
or do we pick an area that's in the middle? Yeah, my husband says we may have to do a study on that.
Mm-hmm.
Pick that ant-infested building there and tell them we need a better storage facility.
Merry-go-round.
There. What about I mean, this would be looking ahead, and it's we're not ready for it, but you could even look over at Zelinsky and say, okay, we don't have a place that's reliable for the summer parks program. So for a couple of years now, we've not, apart from COVID, we already were going to have issues with the school. Is there a way to look at putting up a structure that could be a summer park structure in one of the parks, like Zelinsky or something? Is there a way to make Zelinsky more multi-generational so that we don't get so much vandalism because people are using it at different times of day and evenings and on weekends?
I mean, I think these are all great ideas, but our scale, I think, is a lot larger than I think they're looking to fund.
Yep.
That's the feeling that I'm getting. I think,
Them be the judge of that.
Yeah.
and they
Yeah,
want to
that's fine.
complete it in the next couple of, in the next 7 months?
Right.
Maybe they got that crew that builds a house in a day.
So could a walking circuit be completed in that amount of time?
Anything's
Or
possible. As much money as you throw at it, that's the
Yeah,
issue.
no, I think vets would be out of the question. Zelensky is probably your best bet because you have an existing footprint. We currently need the ADA walkway around the court to the thing.
we do have some funding for
We
the
do have some funding for it. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to submit, I guess. Who likes videos?
Well, I was going to say I could probably bring Dabney out, and I really could put Lindley in a wheelchair.
We want to get this honestly.
the walkway, the playground, make it all ADA.
Yeah. Me and the girls could probably work on some pictures and a video for that this week.
So what if
I mean, we could submit as many as we want, right? I mean, if Jill wants to go
I
down
think
there.
it said two. Yeah, it said 2 projects per town, but I'm assuming that means per, like if we were submitting, we could only submit 2.
Well, do you want to work on one for a pavilion down there, and I'll work on one up here for
A new garage
a walking track?
from the new garage.
Somebody wants a garage at their
garage
house.
Yeah, I mean, I do understand what you guys are saying about that's kind of, not knowing what the footprint is. I mean, if the ADA compliant pathway to the park is something we already know that we need, and that park is definitely not moving, I guess that does make sense that would be something that we need more than a pavilion.
All right. Well, if you want to send me the link to that, or Brett,
I will. Yep.
and I'll work on that on my end. And if anybody has any other ideas, I'm sure it'd be fine.
I was trying to think of something that was multi-generational as well. So something that would hit more than just kids. So we could say, we have, if in the grant description, when we do the narrative, we could say, you know, explain that there's no real walking paths on that side of town because of the highway going through, and this becomes a place where
Right. So this fills
all
that.
go
Yeah.
through and make the playground accessible and safe.
Right.
And we could work on it that way. And the pavilion would do the same thing, but yeah, it is true. It's hard to cite that on the playground, on the park overall, because we don't know where it's going to be. Do we have, is the garage or any of the storage area, is any of that at Vets or at Zelinsky? Is that something that we could put in as part of it to kind of revamp the whole park, or is that something that would take longer to figure out? Did we get a new garage door? No, the garage door got bashed in and we need a new garage door.
They replaced the garage door.
Okay. All right. Well, I can help write that and come up with the narratives if you guys just give me the talking notes and give me drafts or something. I can flesh that out, and that's due the 3rd week of April. So, Allison, I'll send you the link for that.
Okay. I'll go down there and take some pictures with the girls, and we'll try to do a video or something. So.
We could even put in for a new merry-go-round.
Yeah, we could.
Rocket powered.
That's it. There you go. So nobody can, it sounds like Jeff, Allison, and Jill can't make Sunday, April 25th. So for the next meeting date, is there any other, do we want to go one earlier or one later? One later puts us at the day before the town meeting.
May 2nd. Is that what we're looking at?
Either May
So
2nd.
the day before town meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we should go one earlier then, because also won't we need some direction on hiring too by then, I'm sure.
That's fine. A week earlier.
April 18th.
April 18th. Got it.
And I believe that's the day before the application is due for Lowe's. I think it says April 19th on the thing. 3 weeks out.
I don't think I won't be able to make that. April 18th, I believe, we'll be in North Carolina.
Oh, yeah, I won't be able to make that either.
And either will Eric. So, can we do like during the week, like I don't know, Wednesday? I don't know.
That works for me.
So the 20th?
That's fine.
April 20th?
No, like the week after that. The 27th.
28th would be a Wednesday.
28th?
Oh, sorry, 20.
Yeah, the 28th.
Yeah, that works.
Can we do that at 6 p.m. or did you want to change the time?
I'm fine with 6.
Time is fine.
Eric, are you okay with it?
Sounds great. I was fine with any day. I got nothing going on.
All right. So I'll schedule it for that then. So our next meeting is tentatively right now for Wednesday, April 28th at 6 p.m.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Sounds good. Guess
I
we'll
just
call a
have one
meeting.
quick thing to
Sure.
think about. Really quick. We just Brenda's looking at scholarships like crazy. We should have a rec scholarship like the school does. Just a suggestion. Anybody? I mean, the school gives away. I think it's like Jill. Is it $200, $300 one?
Yes.
We can
So
make our own
PTO is $200. PTO is $200. ETA is $300.
Okay. I don't know. Just an idea.
I don't think we've ever had one, to be honest. I mean, does the rec? I don't think Montague Park and Rec has one.
Or it's just
Do
an idea.
they?
You if you go online and look at the ridiculous scholarships that are out there, they have running club scholarships. There's one of like grandchildren for a retired Elks member. There are so many out there. We could, if we had extra money, we could all, and it would have to be a resident of Irving, and they have to have such criteria. Maybe it could be athletic scholarship. You know, if you are, I don't know, we can do anything we want. It's just an idea, just to know there's so many out there that anybody can make up. Why don't we have one? We're always trying to spend money at the end of the year, or trying, just an idea.
Get something for the agenda at the next meeting.
I
Yeah,
can check
that would
with
be the way to
Brian.
go about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can check with Brian and see if this is something that we could do, because those are all private nonprofits, not town, and the school is multi-district and the PTO is a fundraising organization. So I'm not sure how it works in terms of the town using taxpayers' money for something like that. But I can
No.
check with Brian for sure.
Yep. Just an idea.
I will check with Brian.
All right,
So
thank you.
for next meeting, I'll put it on the agenda. Thanks, Renee.
All right, we'll call this meeting to close 7:55 p.m. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Pat.
Have a good night.
Bye.
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 Second.
Second.